to tonight's can't talk. Welcome to tonight's show. I am sorry for stumbling all over my words right now. But we're here for a good time. This is now episode number 77. Here live on the YouTubes. And tonight's main topic is going to be basically the TWAB. You know, it's Thursday, it's our normal ritual once a week, and you know, let's do this, okay? Let me pop over to here. So normally I don't spend a whole lot of time, or when it comes to the TWABs, it's like, I mean, am I really in the position to be really talking about the TWABs? But the idea behind doing it on Thursdays when the TWABs do come out, whatever does hit, it could be, hopefully it could be some conversations had, right? So this is kind of my way of practicing. And since, you know, the TWAB is pretty well straightforward, you know, you basically just read what it is that Bungie puts out and that they do every single week. So that's yeah, and we got a lot of other people that, you know, that are, you know, my fellow content creators out there that end up reading out the TWAB or just kind of hitting some of the highlights and then move on, and that's basically the end of it. But I think that when it comes to this type of platform, this kind of my thinking is maybe we can go in a little bit more depth of what it is that gets put out each week. Sometimes it's not a whole lot. If it's like very, very small and there's not a whole lot going on, then most likely I'm just going to be like, I'll think of another topic. So anyways, let's see here. I do have my Discord open, so if this is your first time here, I'll go ahead and show off the Discord just a little bit. I love to brag about this. I love to show it off to everybody. But anyways, the Discord, there's a link in the description that you're able to use. Hopefully it's still good. I haven't actually tested it to make sure here as of recent, but well, last time I made the link, it was set up so that it would never expire, so I'm assuming it would still work. If not, let me know in the comment section or even here in the live chat, but I'm pretty sure it still works. But anyways, this is basically how I do my talk shows. I don't always set it up, like if we're watching a video of anybody else or something like that, I can't preview it into the Discord. At least I haven't figured it out yet. But this is basically more for, let's say you want to be able to listen to the show, you don't have YouTube Premium, so you're just like, I mean, I want it to be easier for people to be able to listen to the show. The only thing is you're not going to get that nice crisp sound, I don't think, like you would through the YouTube channel. So, and also you don't get any music, so that's kind of a bummer, I guess you would say. But that being had, but anyways, so you come in here, you can listen into the show. It'll come open whenever I do my thing, and you can either listen in, but this is also how I do my call-ins. So basically, once you get to a certain rank in my Discord, which all it is, you know, just chatting, you know, and you level up within the chat room or in the chat. or actually just the stream or the server itself. Excuse me while I'm stumbling over myself. But anyways, you can come in, listen to the show. A lot of the times I'll actually minimize it. I don't exactly have it open like on another monitor, which I really should have one, but that'll be something I'll try to look into later on down the road. But this is what I got. Got to use what you got. So, but that option is available. If not, you prefer just to be able to hang out in the into YouTube and listen that way, that is great. If you're just working, lurking, that's also great as well. So really want to be able to have this popped out. I'm gonna try to do this one more time. For some reason, this new update version of the OBS, I'm having a really hard time trying to get this set up. Hang on. Ooh. Yeah, it's not wanting to do it for me. Let's see, what is this? It brings up a chat, but it doesn't resemble what it is that I want. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, pull this up, and I'll just try to minimize it. I should probably also put it on live. Be sure you're on live chat as well if you're watching live. Be nice, just put it somewhere. Put it somewhere. That's what she said. Okay, so the TWAB. So let me go ahead and go over here to Bungie. Let's see. I am actually going to minimize Discord and then swap over to this. Okay. And then ha 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 ha, there you go. Now we're cooking with chicken grease. Okay, put this chat up, there we go. All right, so let me sign in here. Oh no. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and actually no, we're going to go down to here. This is the place we want to be. Okay, let me put this and put this. Trying to get everything nicely organized. Okay, so this is, I'm not going to go sit here and basically read through everything like verbatim. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just do this. And let's see how this works out.
Sandbox team. Hey folks, Sandbox team here to talk through some of the changes we have lined up in the Abilities Sandbox for Season 19's launch. Before we get into the specific changes, we want to reflect on the last year of Abilities changes and talk about our goals for this update. Last December, we released Update 3.4.0, which reduced ability cooldown rates across the game, with a goal of reducing focus on abilities in high-level crucible modes like Trials and Survival. We also wanted to reduce the number of low-cost abilities that could down a Guardian in one hit. For additional context, prior to Update 3.4.0, the Super Energy economy at the time promoted extremely passive play in high-level PvP activities to secure guaranteed round wins with the use of roaming supers. Ability cooldowns within each slot were identical, and cooldowns were not something that could easily be changed to help balance ability potency. The Subclass 3.0 updates were in the works, and adding build crafting options and additional combinations of perks, abilities, and keywords was unavoidably going to create power spikes that were not present outside of supers in the preset subclass options. To address the first point, with the changes to trials, reduced round timers, the addition of zone capture as a trials variant, and the systemic changes to super cooldown times, this is no longer something we're particularly concerned about, though there are some outliers at the very low and very high ends of the recharge tiers we're looking at. Giving cooldowns independent timers solved what was stated in the second bullet above. To reiterate the third point, this work was done to give us additional runway for the subclass. Subclass 3.0 updates. Without the 30th anniversary tuning packs, the ability energy economy would not be sustainable in a post-Subclass 3.0 world with additional build crafting options and an enormous combination set of abilities and perks. Instead, the uptime of neutral game abilities has taken the spotlight as the most vocal pain point for our players, particularly in the Crucible. In the long term, we plan to do another holistic pass on the ability energy economy to bring outliers in line and get our baseline closer to the 60-40 gunplay/abilities goal we have laid out previously for the Crucible, and better enable our PvE activities to challenge players while letting subclass fantasies shine through. To set expectations now, that is not what the Season 19 abilities update is. Any large-scale ability energy economy tuning would be on a post-Lightfall timeframe, so we can include Strand in our holistic review.
Keep going.
For Season 19, our primary goal is to more closely normalize the power of our existing subclasses, giving us a more standard baseline that we can use for future tuning. This is coming in the form of targeted updates to outliers on the high and low ends of the light subclasses in stasis. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So, okay. So basically Bungie is wanting to get, to get this balance between gunplay and abilities. They're trying to get to like the 60-40, mostly gunplay, less abilities. Which makes a whole lot of sense that they don't want to do anything drastic just yet. Until stasis comes in, or stasis strand comes into play, because then we're going to see if they do it now, then you're going to see like strand comes out and it's like super OP, and then everybody's just using strand, which we're kind of, I'm sure we're going to see that regardless, because this new subclass, everybody's going to want to try it and all that good stuff. But I see like, it seems like it's more focused towards like the competitiveness when it comes to like PvP. I know we discussed about the whole trials and stuff like that for PvP last night, and I'm kind of almost at the point like for like some of the complaints that people have when it comes to like playing in trials, sometimes Iron Banner. I forgot my belaying. Hang on a second. Oh God, can't believe I'm about to do the stream without my medallion, baby. Hell yeah. Okay, so I'm almost kind of at the point where it's like, okay, could we make it where, let's say, it seems like the main issue is how everything works for subclasses and abilities, the way everything is build crafted now, and you can damn near fine-tune what it kind of gameplay you want to play, right? So I kind of wonder if maybe, let's say Bungie decides to do like no supers, like you can't, you're completely locked out of having a super when it comes to trials. So basically it boils down to just gunplay and abilities. And then, you know, a lot of people would probably build more towards abilities, but let's say they do all these things that they're going to announce, and then for some like trials, maybe they could just completely just cut out supers, no supers. Basically it's just gunplay and abilities. Maybe they could do that in like in the labs or something, try it out, see if people like it or not. So I know I said I wasn't going to sit here and like verbatim read all this, but for each of these sections, this next one's going to be solar. I think that it's good information that we should listen to. So, which I'm pretty sure all y'all have already, you know, listened to, like Astacross or Houndish or any of those big guys, but this is more for me. So
With Solar 3.0, one of our goals was to get persistent healing in a place where it felt valuable in high-level PvE. However, with the updates to resilience that released alongside Solar 3.0, restoration has proved to be too powerful for our current suite of activities and has been a particular pain point in high-level PvP. To that end, we're making a small adjustment for Restoration X1 and a larger adjustment for Restoration X2 to make sure that a careless player can still be punished by an opposing guardian or a particularly crafty PvE combatant. Restoration X1 base healing rate reduced from 25 to 20 health per second, 40 health per second in PvE activities, down from 50. Restoration X2 base healing rate reduced from 40 to 32.5 health per second, 65 health per second in PvE activities, down from 80. No longer stacks with healing rifts healing. The stronger heal over time value is prioritized and will stop the weaker heal over time from taking effect. Overall, we're content with the potency of Radiant and its place in the sandbox, but in its current state, its uptime has no meaningful drawbacks, so we're making a few changes to the Solar Fragment suite to reduce that uptime. Ember of Torches. Radiant base duration reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. Now applies a -10 discipline penalty while equipped. Ember of Solace. Now provides a bonus 50% to Radiant duration, rather than a flat 5 seconds. Note, this is consistent with its behavior with Restoration. Next up is Knock Them Down. This aspect does a lot of work, most of it being passive in the background. While we're happy with its use as a neutral game tool to throw an absurd number of knives in target-rich environments, its benefits to the Gunslinger's supers are currently overloaded. In particular, the overlap in benefits between Deadshot and Marksman Golden Gun muddies their identities. The bonus duration on Deadshot resulted in a few too many 7th, 8th, and 14th column videos for our comfort. We want to cement Deadshot Golden Gun as a tool for a hunter that wants to dive into the fray, whereas Marksman is for calmer sharpshooters that want to wait for the perfect shot. To that end, we're splitting Knock Them Down's benefits more cleanly across the two Golden Gun variants. Deadshot will gain 15% damage resistance but lose its bonus duration, and Marksman will no longer provide bonus damage resistance while Knock Them Down is equipped. While it has been refreshing to see Blade Barrage topping the PvE DPS charts, the base damage increase it received alongside Solar 3.0's launch, in combination with Knock Them Down's bonus knives, have pushed it above where we're comfortable with the burst damage super living, so we're bringing down the bonus Blade Barrage knife count from 5 to 3 per wave. Knock Them Down. Golden Gun. Now provides 15% bonus damage resistance to Deadshot Golden Gun and no longer provides bonus duration. No longer provides 15% bonus damage resistance to Marksman Golden Gun. Blade Barrage. Blade Barrage bonus projectiles reduced from 5 to 3 per group. It now releases a total of 20 knives, down from 24. With Solar 3.0's release, we reduced the damage of Celestial Fire against enemy guardians as a trade-off for increased long-range consistency. However, that change resulted in close-range melee duels, i.e., both players lunge at each other, failing to end in a trade because a base melee in combination with Celestial Fire only deals 190 damage. We're making a change to address that here. In cases where the auto-melee control binding activates a projectile melee at close range, our goal is for that damage to be, at minimum, equal to a base melee. Celestial Fire. Increased close-range melee damage from 90 to 100. Players using Celestial Fire and the auto-melee option are no longer disadvantaged in close-range melee fights.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll, I guess that's just one of the things that we're going to have to see. I'm not big on solar, but at the same time, we'll just have to see how that's implemented in the wild once it gets released. So this next section is going to be void.
While Void has maintained a solid position in PvE since Void 3.0's release, the survivability benefit of Void over Shields didn't quite land where we intended due to a bug. We're fixing that bug in Season 19, which should increase over Shields' viability as a protection tool in high-level PvE.
Yeah.
Void over Shield fixed an issue where the overshield was only providing 25% PvE only damage resistance to the overshield, rather than the intended 50%.
Yeah.
Void Walker is also in a place we're pretty comfortable with across all modes, but Vortex Nova Bomb currently doesn't feel like it provides a meaningful enough benefit with its pull effect to make it a compelling choice over the Cataclysm variant. We've also observed that players frequently undershoot their intended target in the Crucible, especially if that target is moving quickly. We've made a few targeted changes here to address this, but we'll be keeping an eye on it going forward to make sure it's hitting the mark. Nova Bomb, Vortex. Increased initial projectile speed by 21%. Increased radius of the inward pull on impact by 17%. Increased strength of the inward pull on impact by 20%. For Sentinel Titans, in Season 19, we're making a change to Shield Bash to make its suppression effect more consistent when the user impacts a fast-moving target in PvP. Its current implementation results in too many whiffs on quick targets, especially while the target is airborne. Shield Bash. Improved reliability of applying suppression. With Void 3.0's release, we made significant changes to both Shadowshot super variants. Deadfall Shadowshot received a larger pull on impact, and Mobius Quiver was reworked completely. We're pretty happy with Mobius Quiver's hybrid burst/debuff roll, but it's currently too good on one side of that roll. We want to push Mobius Quiver further away from Deadfall's role as the long-duration debuff tool by reducing its tether lifetime, while simultaneously increasing the tether lifetime of Deadfall Shadowshot. As we've previously announced, in Season 19, the damage bonus provided by Divinity is being reduced, which we hope will make Deadfall Shadowshot a more attractive option for situations like boss damage phases. Shadowshot, Deadfall. Increased tether anchor lifetime when triggered from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. Shadowshot, Mobius Quiver. Reduced tether anchor lifetime when triggered from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Let's take a moment to address the elephant in the room. We know invisibility is currently a severe pain point in high-level PvP. We don't have any plans to announce today, but we're looking at longer-term solutions to address the difficulty in encountering a full team of invisible Night Stalkers. Changes across updates 6.0.0.4 and 6.1.0 to make refreshing invisibility more punishing by implementing a radar ping loop to give victims a better understanding of where they may be attacked from, but we don't believe we addressed the problem strongly enough. We are investigating additional solutions to make invisible players less frustrating to run into without compromising their elusive gameplay style.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to really do because, for me, I play as the vanishing hunter, and yeah, I've had several instances where I'll be playing in just regular Crucible, and all of a sudden I get smacked with a fucking shotgun out of fucking nowhere because a hunter was invisible, but normally I can see them coming. But if they flank and I don't see them coming, that is frustrating. I don't know. I know a lot of people are just well, just keep them on the don't make them disappear off the mini map. And it's true, but I think that also in Destiny the map tells you so much already. So if you actually take that away, kind of playing the invisible hunter role, it kind of doesn't really make any sense. Maybe you become visible once you get closer to your enemy, maybe you start to pop up on the radar, once you get close, like a certain so many yards, or not yards, but so many meters, I guess they would use. Or you can do maybe, well, I would say maybe louder steps or something, but I don't know that would actually benefit in any kind of way. But yeah, I don't know. It's that one's a tough one to try to keep the two balanced, but you know, as hunters, you know, we just take the good with the bad and embrace the suck. And unlike, you know, some other other people that play other classes, you know, they get nerfed. Oh my god, it's the end of the fucking world, I'm quitting the game, da 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 da. But as hunters, we're like, we'll adapt. Now I'm talking like the true hunters. Okay, so next will be Arc. So we're going to listen in. This is probably, just these sections are probably going to be the only sections we're actually going to really touch on, so it'll be alright.
Arc 3.0 is relatively new, and we're still monitoring the feedback and data coming in. We've identified some obvious outliers in the Arc ability suite that we'd like to address, the largest of which is currently Touch of Thunderstorm grenades.
If I could add something when it comes to, like, I don't know, I mean, it's the way Arc 3.0 is set up, at least at a hunter standpoint, in my personal opinion, I feel like being, you know, having the charge, you know, I think they could do more with that, because yeah, I guess there is some, like, really the only time that I try to make sure that I'm charged up is when, like, if I'm about to launch my super, which I love the new super, by the way. It's so nice, you know, you just throw it at the boss and it sticks right to them like this big ass spear into their body, and just does a shit ton of damage. I love it. And whenever you're charged up, we do have an artifact that allows you to do more damage with your super if you're critically wounded or when you're charged. And I feel like that's the only time that I get kind of the benefit. Now, I think maybe I should look into more of, like, maybe look closer with the builds, but it's almost like meh. I think it would have been nice to be like, kind of use it like, I want to say that could be more towards your abilities, but then it would just put a whole lot of uptime on your abilities. They like they kind of do with the wells, right? Maybe they can lean more into like how they've been doing wells, using that same aspect. I don't know. I just feel like they could probably do more with that, but I mean, that's just kind of my take on it.
Grenades.
Come on.
Our intention with this aspect was to lean hard into Striker as the Titan's grenade-centric class, echoing Code of the Earthshaker's role, and for the Storm Grenade to be used to force bunkered players to move when a Storm Grenade was approaching. It's been clear from feedback in the Crucible that these linger in the world too long and are difficult to read from the target's perspective. To address this, we're reducing the enhanced Storm Grenade's base lifetime, as well as the benefit it receives from Spark of Magnitude. We're also making changes to the friend or foe ring that travels along the ground to improve its readability during combat, and adding a visual layer to the roaming storm to help players identify whether the grenade is friendly or dangerous. Touch of Thunder Storm Grenade. Decreased Touch of Thunder Storm Grenade base roaming duration from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. Decreased the bonus lifetime granted by Spark of Magnitude to the enhanced Storm Grenade from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Updated friend or foe visual language. Previously, the friend or foe ring surrounding a Touch of Thunderstorm Grenade's lightning strikes blinked on and off between strikes, and there was no indication within the cloud itself of whether
it was friend or foe.
was
Come on.
friend or foe. Now, the ring persists through the life of the storm, and enemy storms have an additional VFX layer in the cloud itself to help differentiate them from those created by allies. Sticking with Striker, Ballistic Slam is performing very well in the Crucible but is a little short of the mark in PvE, so we're bumping up its damage against PvE combatants a bit. Ballistic Slam. Increased Ballistic Slam damage against PvE combatants by 16%. One of our primary goals with ARC 3.0 was increasing the viability of ArcStrider in high-level PvE content, and it's doing pretty well at the moment. However, the global damage reduction Tempest Strike received with ARC 3.0's release makes it too difficult to justify slotting over lethal current or flow state, so we're increasing its damage output in PvE. Tempest Strike. Increased Tempest Strike damage against PvE combatants by 30%. We've received a lot of feedback about Stormcaller's potency across both PvE and PvP since ARC 3.0's release. Primarily that they don't have a place in high-level PvE, especially when the trade-off is giving up Child of the Old Gods, Bleak Watching, or a Well of Radiance. We agree and are making a series of targeted changes to Stormcaller abilities to increase their potency, some of which will also increase Stormcaller's viability in PvP modes.
Okay. We're almost there.
With ARC 3.0's release, we increased the base damage of Arc Souls against PvE targets from 25 to 35. Since we anticipated the supercharged Arc Soul, granted by becoming amplified, to be significantly more prevalent, we were fairly conservative with this number. However, that increase wasn't enough to give Stormcaller a unique role in combat and make it a situational pick. In Season 19, we're swinging harder on Arc Souls. A lot harder. We'll be keeping an eye on these once players get their hands on them, but we're okay if Arc Souls have some time in the sun. Arc Soul. Increased base damage versus PvE combatants from 35 to 60. We're also making some updates to Stormcaller's melee abilities. While being amplified increases their potency, they also compete with Lightning Surge, which has been a very popular aspect choice. So
That's what I meant. Amplified. While you're amplified. Don't get me wrong, but this almost feels like especially with Arc Soul, this is a very big buff for warlocks. I mean, at least in the PvE realm. But I guess most of the complaints that I'm seeing when it comes to, oh well, they're nerfing warlocks, it's mostly PvP oriented. So I'm not sure. What's up, Chris? How's it going? I see you in the chat. Welcome. All right, let's keep going. Let's finish this.
So we're making some updates to help them be more competitive in their base forms. Ball Lightning. Increased travel range from 27.5 meters to 35 meters. Chain Lightning. Increased damage against PvE combatants by 50%. We've also been keeping an eye on conversations around Chaos Reach, which has felt underwhelming across PvE and PvP. The change made last year to Geomag stabilizers is a contributor, but we were also conservative with Chaos Reach's base cooldown with the 30th anniversary tuning pass because it was the source of extremely negative sentiment in the Crucible during Season 15. Now that our ability ecosystem has changed, we're more comfortable shifting the base cooldown to make this a more competitive option, sitting alongside other one-off options like Blade Barrage and Silence and Squall. Chaos Reach. Reduced base cooldown time from 9:16 to 7:35.
That's not bad. I mean, you'll definitely get your super a lot faster. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but a few minutes in Destiny, it's like a fucking eternity. I tell you that. Oh, let's see. Here you go, Chris. I got you. You're now a moderator of my channel. Ha ha ha. So, okay, so it looks like I know a lot of people are talking about that they want Chaos Reach like to have a bigger damage, which, you know, Chaos Reach used to be like the god tier, you know, Yeah, Chris, you like that, don't you? They got a wrench next to your name. Hell yeah. I think that'll stay too. I don't think it resets at the end of the stream. So I think that's actually permanent. So anyways, let's go ahead and do this. We'll just kind of go, this is stasis, so this is the last bit when it comes to all 4 subclasses. Can you imagine? Just wait, we'll have Strand added to this one day. Oh my god, that's going to be a hefty TWAB if they gotta like revamp all this shit. Moving on up, everyone. Step aside. Hell yeah, boy. Watch out. Okay, let's do this.
Let's talk about stasis. We don't have any intention of returning stasis to its original potency at Beyond Light's launch, but there are elements of stasis that we swung very hard at with updates 3.2.0.3 and 3.4.0 that have fallen behind our current sandbox power bar. With Season 19 and beyond, we want to reassess the role of stasis in the sandbox. These are the changes we felt we could make safely right now, but we'll be continually evaluating as we move forward. Our first targeted change is to the slow status effect. In its initial form, slow did too much and penalized too many facets of the player's performance, but we aren't happy with its current form, which just feels like a stepping stone to freezing your target. We're making a measured change to improve slow's primary utility, reducing movement speed, and leaving slow's other effects where they are for now. Stasis slow. Increased movement speed penalty while slowed by 10%. Cold Snap Grenade has been falling under our reliability target for some time now. While things like Osneomancy gloves help solve that problem, Cold Snap fails to find even slow-moving targets often enough that we felt like a change was necessary. We'll be watching this closely to make sure its potency in PvP doesn't creep back up above our target. Cold Snap Grenade. Cold Snap Secret can now adjust its trajectory for 0.5 seconds after creation, rather than immediately finding a target and traveling toward their last known position. With the Duskfield Grenade, we felt it doesn't currently punish players in its area of effect, AOE, who fail to relocate quickly enough. We're slightly increasing the rate at which Duskfield applies slow stacks to enemy guardians so that there is a bit more urgency when a player gets caught by a well-aimed grenade.
Thank you.
Duskfield Grenade. Increased slow stack application rate on players by 13%. Due to its potency.
I'm just going to say this. When it comes to the Duskfield Grenades, it's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, a lot of the times that like when I use it, let's say in PvP, it's like, you know, I think it's more of like, it doesn't create enough urgency for someone to try to get out of it, because they could just literally walk out of the damn thing. It slows them down, but it doesn't really do anything, unless if you get them where they're just like completely standing. But a lot of the times they get out, like there's no like there's no urgency for them to try it where they don't get frozen. And I think it's nice that they're increasing this just a bit, for, you know, just in my opinion, because it's more of like a distraction, I guess, if I'm going to use Duskfield grenades, which I like them better than using the wall. So, but the walls work out pretty well as well. I really miss the way stasis used to be, because I got good at using the throwing stars and just popping it twice, and then it freezes you instantly. You get hit twice, and then you're frozen, and then boom, you know, I hit you with a shotgun, you know, or just do a quick melee, whatever the case may be. I love doing that. That was a lot of fun, but I know it frustrates people. So, but yeah, I think it's nice that they're actually going to up the Duskfield grenades a little bit for us, so that it creates that urgency that if you don't get out in time, you're about to get frozen. Not this, oh, there's Duskfield grenade, I'm just going to waltz right on through, which does get kind of frustrating to use with. So sometimes if I don't want to use it more as a distraction or a detour or a detour, like let's say you're playing Iron Banner and someone's capturing a zone, you could throw one and they would still get out, but they might not capture the zone in time. Who knows? But this is definitely going to change the game a little bit.
Potency at launch. Stasis has a significant number of single fragment slot aspects, particularly on the Revenant Hunter. We took the
And another thing, Bungie, do me another favor for me. This will also be great. Give us more grenades. Like, give us more grenade types for stasis. And give us all the cool stuff like we have for all the other subclasses, Arc, Solar, and Void. You know, I feel like stasis is kind of falling behind at this point when it comes to the subclass 3.0 upgrade. It's like, okay, well, everything else you have like this whole slew of selection. But with stasis, I think that the grenade types are kind of falling behind a little bit. So it'd be nice if Bungie could maybe change that up a little. Maybe even add a new melee type. Who knows? But that would be great, Bungie, if you could do something like that.
took this opportunity to review the single slot stasis aspects across Revenant Hunter and Behemoth Titan and found that a couple of them didn't make sense in the current sandbox, so we're bumping these up to 2 slots each. Revenant Hunter. Winter's Shroud. Fragment slots increased from 1 to 2. Behemoth Titan. Cryoclasm. Fragment slots increased from 1 to 2. Shadebinder is generally in a good place, but while potent, Glacial Harvest felt like a hard choice to make over Ice Reworks, Leaf Water, and Frostbite. We believe a portion of that friction comes from Glacial Harvest's lengthy cooldown after activation, so we're reducing it by 33%. Shadebinder. Glacial Harvest. Reduced cooldown on stasis shard creation for 6 shards, from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. A piece of feedback we've heard a lot since stasis launched was Shadebinder's inability to quickly shatter frozen targets with.
I actually like that. So you're going to be able to collect more stasis shards, but at the same time, depending on how you do your build, I mean, you could almost consistently always have shards up. But definitely, whenever I run stasis, I always gravitate towards like shards, and having an overshield is just it works really, really well.
Targets with tools like Cryoclasm or Shadow Dive. The Whisper of Rending Fragment was intended to be a tool Shadebinders could use to make that conversion easier, but in the current sandbox requiring a kinetic primary to be equipped felt too restrictive, so we're making this work on all primary weapons. Whisper of Rending now provides bonus damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets for all primary ammo weapons, rather than just kinetic primary ammo weapons.
Oh yeah.
That's it. With the amount of change we've made to abilities in the last year, we're still assessing the current state of the sandbox so we can make broader scale changes following Strand's release next year. While we can't always take action immediately, we're always listening and digesting your feedback as it comes in.
So that's basically your subclasses, all kind of in a nutshell. At the same time, for stasis, it would be nice. Like I do miss having that like damage buff. Like if you freeze a target, you get that damage buff. Was so nice. I wish we could have that back, but it doesn't look like that's ever going to be a thing because they've made so many adjustments to everything else. But it was definitely nice to have it, especially when you're rocking like Monte Carlo, and I had it set up like basically I was melting bosses with the Monte Carlo and stasis, you know, just throw a couple of those throwing stars and it would freeze, and then when I shot at the boss, it would literally automatically reload my weapon and I get a damage buff. And I think Monte Carlo was like ×5 or something crazy. Like I was able to just sit there with just a Monte Carlo, an auto rifle, and just melt them that way, just continuously, because it would also give you back your melee energy. Oh, Ooh, some of the builds I've made are amazing. But unfortunately, they don't work like that no more. So, but the next part, I know dungeon was a part of this TWAB as well. They're coming out with another dungeon for season 19. So, and it will be, it states here, a new dungeon is on the way, and while we do want to keep the details close to the chest so that the day one experience can be exciting and new for all, we did at the very least want to share when you can get adventure ready for season 19. The new dungeon will drop on December 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, the first Friday of the new season. In this new in-game activity, you'll be able to gotta go. So yeah, that's it. So which is kind of cool because they don't do it like first day of the season. You know, it'll be on that Friday, which it's kind of like how they're doing the raids, which I am very in favor, even though I'm not able to participate in like day one raids at full launch. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I would rather everybody have a smoother experience when it comes to like day one raids, especially day one raids. When it's a raid race, you want to have a smoother experience, and they do it on a Friday instead of a Saturday. Then they don't have to like have people call in or try to call in, or that if there's issues, you might as well do it on a work day where everybody's already there anticipating for that day and moving forward. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but if you manage your work schedule and your love life and everything else, then you can manage, like, you know, take a day off, you know, use a vacation for that day. I know a lot of people do that shit, so I don't want to hear it. And then, you know, most of the people that are bitching and complaining about it, they probably don't even try to participate in day one raid anyways. So I know I don't, because it's like, I don't want that kind of pressure, but it would be nice one day. I'll just take the day off from work when I can and try to participate in one. I mean, knowing now I'm probably never going to get it, but it would be fun. Especially as soon as, you know, kind of going into a raid where nobody knows anything about it. That would be a lot of fun. The next bits are the Towers Haunted for this next weekend. These are your maps, your map choices here. Then they have this the mentor and moderator walk. Oh wait, yeah, this is basically like certain people, certain players have been selected. If you play with them, then you get this emblem. So, and that's going to be on a Friday, November 4th, November 5th, November 6th, 7th, and 8th. So those few days, you'll be able to, if you're on Destiny, you're just grinding out a bunch of shit, you can actually end up pairing with one of these few people. And I mean, there's quite a few people here, and you would actually have a chance to be able to obtain this emblem, which is actually not too bad. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually not a bad looking emblem. And the rest of it is basically TWAB filler that I like to call, but you know, it's some pretty cool stuff for like Halloween. You know, we just had Halloween here recently, a lot of art stuff. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But yeah, after that, looks like this stuff. While we're talking about the Destiny 2 experience on console, we've got another update for the team on some changes that we want players that are playing on previous generations of PlayStation and Xbox systems to be aware of. Here's what you need to know about what's changing when Lightfall releases on February 28th, 2023. We have modified some textures on the PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, and Xbox X to reduce their memory footprint to minimal quality degradation. So this, it looks, the only different, like it shows for like, I play on the PS4. Looks like really the only difference I'm seeing is this looks really dusty. And then down here, I can see like some of the rocks in the background are not as sharp or as much details, which makes sense. You know, I was kind of, I had a feeling that that was going to be a thing. Let's see. Yeah, you could somewhat tell, but within the pictures you could kind of see it. But anyways, it'll be fine, I'm sure. I got a feeling that, you know, the further on we go, eventually, you know, I'm hoping that Bungie keeps Destiny 2 updated and going for PlayStation 4 players, including like myself. But I mean, I am planning on getting a PS5 next year, hopefully, if everything works out pretty good. But at the same time, you know, and I would really hope that they can make it last as long as possible. And it looks like they're trying to get ahead of that curve and not make it where, okay, well, final shape, for example, when it finally comes back in like 2024 and they can't run, they have so much going on that you can't really run it on there on the old gens. But it's kind of one of those things I guess to expect, that you're going to see a little bit of downgrading for like the old gens. I mean, it is what it is. And hopefully, you know, things will kind of lighten up a little bit. I plan on getting a PS5. I'm probably going to just go through the Sony email, because they send me emails at least once a month for me to have an opportunity to order directly from them, which I think that's going to be how I'm going to do it, and just wait for it to finally one day be delivered to me. I'm not really sure how that's going to look. Hopefully it's not going to be like forever, but yeah. Okay, so we're done with that. So I'm going ahead and take this down, and I'll pop up the Discord. Here we go. Now, of course, I'll probably just go ahead. Where are we at on time? We're getting closer to the 1 hour mark, pretty much. Okay, bring that back. Let's go ahead and lock that down. Okay. Cool. I'll just go ahead and lock that off. Live. There we go. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just shut down the show in the Discord. And there we go. But this is, like I said, this is basically, you know, the Discord. I have all kinds of people up in here. To be honest, I actually have it's kind of like two sections basically, you know, having all my clan members in there, also everybody that's in my clan, they're in the Discord as in the same server. I've spent so much time building it, and I just like, you know what, I feel like I want to have the opportunity to be able to, you know, add to it. So I decided to lump my clan in there as well, since I did spend it's a lot of work with these damn things sometimes, and I'm still kind of exploring new things, wanting to try new things. You know, I try it, but I wanted to keep it simple and sweet, so it's not like overloading, you know, because I've seen others that are crazy overdone where they just got something for anything and everything, but and sometimes it can be kind of hard to keep up with, so I try to keep it pretty minimal. So, but anybody is available, or anybody is welcome to join. So if you're watching this in the past broadcast, the link is in the description if you would like to join in on that. So let me go ahead and switch over to the 1v1 section. Hell yeah. Go ahead and shut that down. Woo. But anywho, alright, so this was a pretty decent stream, I think. It was like I've said in previous streams, the stream really does come alive when there's more interaction, when there's more people to, you know, interact with me in chat, or if I have someone that wants to be a guest on my show, we can actually have back and forth discussions. I might actually like to try to get to the point where I can have guests on consistently, you know, but you just gotta find those right people. So, all right. Well, anyways, I think that's gonna be it for me for the night. And but this was great. I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed your stay, especially if you're watching this past broadcast, and hopefully, you know, I helped with any kind of information. It's more of, I guess I'm using kind of the TWABs to be more like conversation starters, really. You know, maybe I'll put my 2 cents in, but if, you know, in the future you decide you want to kind of put your 2 cents in, then you can, you know, you're more than welcome to. So, but all right, I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. And I hope the rest of you have an amazing night, amazing day, whatever time it is in your part of the world. So until I see you Guardians again, y'all keep it classy.